सत्यानंद चिंत सत्ये कपक्षे सर्वाध्यक्षे भक्ति रक्षादिदक्षे श्री गोविंदे विश्वसर्गादिकंदे पूर्णानंदे नित्यमास्तां मतिर्मे अज्ञाननीरधिरुपैतिया विशेषं भक्ति परापवजति परिपोषमुच्चैः तत्त्वं परं स्फुरति दुर्गमम् अप्यजस्रं सत्कुण्यभृत्स्वर्जितं प्रणमामि गीतं गौरां सुखः सत्कुमुद प्रमोदि स्वाभिक्यया गोस्तमो निहन्त श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य सुधानिधर्मे मनोदितिष्ठन् स्वरतिं करोतु प्राचीनवाचः सुविचार्य सोऽहम् अज्ञोऽपि गीतामृतले सलिलुषुः यत प्रभोरेवमदेत तत्र सन्तक्षमत्वं शरणागतस्य सर्वोपनिषतो गावः दोक्ता गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। Krishna, welcome you all for this Gita Sastri course. So now we are in the first chapter, shlokas starting from 28. Today we will go through from 28 to maybe 35 or 36. So Arjuna Vacha Drishtvevam Swajanam Krishna Yutsum Samapastitam Sidhanti Mama Gatrani Mukam Cha Parishushati Vepatuscha Sharire Me Roma Harshtascha Jayate गांडीवं शंसते हश्चात्वक्चा परिदक्ष्यते न च शक्नोमि अवस्थातुं भ्रमतीव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि च केशव न च श्रेयो नु पश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनमाहवे न काङ्क्षे विजयं कृष्ण न च राज्यं सुखानि च किं नो राज्येन गोविन्द किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा येषामर्थे काङ्क्षितं नो राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च तमेव स्थिता युद्धे प्राणस्त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्यः पितरः पुत्रस्तथैव पितामहः मातुलः स्वशुरः पौत्रः स्याला सम्बन्धिनस्तथा एतान् हन्तुमिच्छामि ततोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतो किं नु मही कृते निहत्य दार्तराष्ट्रान् का प्रीतिः स्यात् जनार्दन. Here Arjuna is giving various reasons in order to avoid this war. In the last shloka itself we have seen kripaya paraya vishtaha vishidan idam abhravid. He was possessed by a wrong notation of mercy. That's why Yamunacharya in the beginning of this Gita Sangraha, for the first chapter, he gives a very suitable shloka. He says, Asthana Sneha Karunya. The first problem is Asthana Sneha and Asthana Karunya, means misplaced mercy and misplaced bondage. Asthana Sneha, Asthana Karunya. Yes, we should have mercy, we should have bondage, but it should not be misplaced. But Arjuna, he has misplaced these both things. He has misplaced his mercy and bondage. So this is the problem of Arjuna, and this is the problem with ourselves also. We keep our bondage in a wrong way and we show mercy in a wrong place. As a conditioned soul, we are showing mercy to take care of this body, to take care of our family in a bodily concept of life, but we forget to benefit that Atma. So that is the wrong place mercy. And also wrong place bondage. We think these people are our real relatives, but we forget to develop a relationship with Krishna. So this is our situation. Because we have this misplaced mercy and misplaced bondage, we also suffer like Arjuna. Like in the last shloka itself, it is mentioned Arjuna was suffering because of this misplaced mercy and bondage. Now this is further explained here. Drishtvevam, after seeing, then Arjuna, how he sees Swajanam, he says Swajanam, these are all my people. Hey Krishna, Drishtvevam Swajanam Krishna. Yutsum Samupastitam Sidanti Mama Ghatrani. He sees everyone in the battlefield. He sees his grandfather, his father, like respectful people, his teachers, his uncles, his brothers, his son, and then grandson, his well-wishers. He sees all kinds of relatives there. Usually when you see your relatives, you become happy. Like when we have some marriage, we have some family get together, we see all the family member come together and we enjoy usually. But this get together is not at all a happy situation, because they are all ready to give up their life and their wealth, and they're ready to die for the wrong cause. There is no guarantee that who will go back to their home. Many women will lose their husband, will lose their children, will lose their brothers. Many kingdom will lose their good kings. Many children will lose their parent, their father. So like this, now Arjuna started to think about nimittani cha pashyani. When you start doing something, you should see the nimitta, you should see the results also. It's not that you just keep on doing some work without seeing the results. So here Arjuna, as a proper Kshatriya, he says that when I think about this, that all my relatives are assembled here ready to die, I can see only the results, and these results are not at all good. So when I think about these results, what happens? Then immediately he says, Sidanti Mamahatrani Mukam cha Parishushya. These are all different symptoms of a person who is in material consciousness. So here he addresses Lord as Krishna. Drishtvevam Swajanam Krishna. He says, you are Krishna. Krishna, what is Krishna? Krishna Shabda means Krishir Bhu Vachaka Shabdaha Nascha Nivritti Vachakaha Vishnu Stadbhava Yogascha Krishna it Abhidhiyate. This is from Vishnu Purana. Krish means Krish Bhu Vachaka. Krish means it represents earth, Bhumi. And then Naha, it represents Nivritti Vachaka, one who mitigates, one who removes. So Krishna means one who removes the burden, or one who removes the suffering of the earth or those who are on the earth and gives happiness. So here Arjuna is saying, you are Krishna, you are supposed to give happiness to everyone in this material world. But now what is going to happen? The whole earth is going to get wet with blood. So this is not the way that you give happiness for these earthly people. He is thinking that Krishna is meant for our happiness. But Krishna actually means we are supposed to give happiness to Krishna. It is not that Krishna has to give us happiness. By means of giving happiness to Krishna, we become happy. We cannot exploit, or we cannot demand Krishna to give happiness. This is material consciousness. So here Arjuna is saying, you are Krishna, so you are supposed to give happiness, but my body is now suffering because of seeing my relatives and I have assembled here and I don't see any good results. My limbs are weakening, my mouth is drying up, my body is trembling, my hands are standing on end, my bow is falling from my hand, my skin is burning. So, and my mind is wailing about, I am not at all seeing a good results. I cannot even stay fixed. These are all different material concept, material behavior. Those who are in the suffering, we have also experienced this kind of behavior. When we are too much attached, when we are having this fear or too much suffering, we go through all these different kinds of suffering. So here Arjuna, even though in the previous shlokas we have seen that Arjuna, by means of his love for Krishna, he has conquered Krishna, but still he was put into this kind of illusion. Even in that illusion state, he was not degraded. Even in that illusion state, Krishna is showing him as a good person only. He was showing him as a merciful person. So yes, Krishna is trying to teach something through Arjuna, but he did not put Arjuna in a very bad manner like Krishna has done to Shiva. Krishna wanted to teach something to the world, but he has put Shiva in some in some very difficult situation, like he was bewildered by Mohini Murti. So that was different. But here we can see Arjuna, he was put into illusion, but not in a very bad manner. If you see from outside, it still shows that Arjuna is a good person. So this is again, Krishna is very conscious about his devotees. Even to present his devotees in a very illusion way, he did not put them as a villain or something like that, but he made them to look even nice. So here he says that I don't see any good in killing them. Nata shreyo na pashyami hatva swajanam. Again and again he says swajanam, swajanam, swajanam. This is the wrong thing that we have developed in this world. Without seeing our relationship with Krishna, we are all developing some relationship with this material world. Until we see these people as our swajana, we can never develop a relationship with Krishna. We should see them not as swajana, but we should see them as part and parcel of Lord, because they are all amshas of Krishna. They are not our swajanas. Until you think that this person is my father, you can only get only the wealth from this person. But when you give up this relationship and when you take up your original relationship with your original father, then you are given the gift of, you are given the wealth of that father. Like a person, we have given this example in the beginning of this Bhagavad Gita itself. If a prince, a king's son, prince, he becomes a son of a hunter, and he thinks that himself as the hunter's son, then he can only reclaim, or he can only claim the position of the hunter. He cannot become the prince. When he gives up this idea, yes, I am the son of this hunter. When he gives up this, when he gives up this idea of that I am the son of this hunter, and when he understands that yes, I am the son of this king, then he doesn't have to claim for this hunter's position, but rather he will reclaim the position of his king, his father. Similarly, until we are having this consciousness, this I belong to this world, I belong to this family, we can only gain this material happiness, this material pains and pressure. When you give up this swajanas, and when you accept the real relationship with Krishna, then you are what to say? Krishna says in the 11th canto that when a devotee, in spite of all sufferings, he still continues his devotion service. He has the proper proprietorship for my own wealth, for my liberation. So you become son of Krishna, and then you gain all the Krishna's kingdom. In this way, he again and again he says that swajanam, swajanam, swajanam. He says, by means of this war, I don't see any shreya, any good thing. Why? Why there is no good? By means of killing this army, you give them liberation. Because in Parashara Samhita, it is mentioned that Dvayumau Purusham Loke Surya Mandala Bhedino Paribrat Yoga Yuktascha Ranecha Abhimukha Hataha. That a sannyasi, he gives up his body by means of yoga siddhi, and a kshatriya, he gives up his body by fighting in the warfield. So both attain the Surya Mandala or the sun planet. So it is good that if you fight, if you kill them, that you give them liberation. But Arjuna may argue, no Krishna, it is mentioned that if you leave your body in the warfield, then you go to sun planet. So by means of killing, I don't see any good. Rather, I should be killed in this warfield. If I get killed, I will go to sun planet. So taking this as consideration, I don't want to kill them because there is no good. Na kanksha vijayam Krishna. Okay, you don't have to be killed. At least you fight. When you fight, then only you can be killed and you can get victory. He says, na vijayam, I don't want victory also. Okay, you may not want victory. At least you fight. At least you fight, and you fight for the kingdom. You gain the kingdom. Then he says, I don't want sukha, I don't want rajya. When I don't want my kingdom, when don't want my happiness from derived from this kingdom, why I should fight? In the first place, I don't want any happiness from this kingdom. I don't want even kingdom, then why I should fight? So this shows that when you are not hungry, you don't want to cook. This is the reason. You see, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat. So why I should cook? This is the reason that Arjuna is saying, I don't want happiness. I don't want kingdom. So why I should fight? So here again and again he speaks about himself. He keeps himself as a center, and then he says, I don't want to fight. I don't want to enjoy. So these are all concept of materialistic person. I and myself. I am the enjoyer. I am the owner. I am the doer. So all these things are the qualification or the signs of materialistic person. So this is what Arjuna, he says that I don't want to fight, I don't want happiness, I don't want kingdom, and let me die by their hands. I don't want to fight. So this is the same thing as Arjuna is going to stress in the end of this chapter also. He is going to say, let me die, even though if they want to kill me, let them kill me, but I will not fight back. The same thing he will stress in the end of this in the end of this first chapter. But again, he gives various other reasons that why he doesn't want to fight. He says, Kim no rajyena govinda kim bhogir jivitenava. Again he says, Kim no rajyena govinda, hey Govinda, you are Govinda. What is Govinda? Go means senses, and Vinda means one who controls, and Govinda means a person, the Lord who holded the hill for 7 days to give pleasure for others. Even though he suffered, he underwent so many difficulties, but he had given pleasure for everyone. So here Arjuna is saying, you are Govinda. So you are giving pleasure for others in spite of you have taken up suffering. So why are you pushing me to fight? So I don't want to fight. Kim no rajyena govinda, kim bhoge jivitenava. What is the use of this rajya? What is the use of this happiness? What is the use of even living in the for this cheap materialistic happiness? Why we need to kill everyone? Esham arte kangshitam na rajyam bhoga sukanicha. Those people, those opposite party, they are ready to fight. They are ready to give up their life. They are ready to give up their everything because of their greediness. So why we should also do the same thing? Yes, they are ready. They are ready to give up their life. They are ready to give up their wealth. They are ready to give up everything just to satisfy their greedy desire. So why we should also do the same thing? Why we should consider them as our enemies? Because that is the quality of a devotee. Adveshta sarvabhutana maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukak sukakshami thantushta sadavam yogi yatma dhanishtayaha mayarpita mano buddhir yomad bhakta samaya priyaha. Krishna says in the beginning in the Bhagavad Gita, when he was explaining about the qualifications of devotees, qualities of devotees, he says adveshta. He never considers anyone as his enemy. Because when you see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, then you will not develop any enmity on anyone, because they're all links of Krishna. We're all amshas of Krishna. One limb will not cause difficulty to another limb. Like we have this body. In this body, hands, legs, they're all our limbs. We all belong to one part. We all belong to one whole. So when you understand this, our hands will not cause disturbance or will not cause any bad things for our legs, because this is our hand and this is our legs. So our hand will never develop any kinds of enmity to our legs. When our leg is in a problem, then our hand goes and tries to help them, but it doesn't do any bad thing, because we understand this is my leg, this is my hand, we are this whole. Similarly, a devotee, he understands we are all amshas of Krishna. So when somebody is suffering, devotee try to help them in spite of trying to give them more suffering or try to develop hatredness. Devotees always tries to help others, because he understands everyone is amshas of Krishna. So keeping this in mind, here Arjuna is showing the quality of a devotee, that I don't want to kill them, I don't want to develop any kinds of enmity, I don't consider them as my enemies. He always says they are swajanam, they are all my people, they are all our people. Then he says, all my relatives are assembled here. What is the use of killing them? Because by killing them, to whom I am going to boost myself? He gives another reason. First of all, he said that I don't want to kill them just for some materialistic pleasure. And then he says, by killing them, I don't see any good. And then he says the next reason, he says, by killing them, what is happiness in this material world? Because you gain something in this material world in order to boost yourself to your relatives. Actually, here in this material world, we are all suffering, we are all struggling so hard. For what? Not just for our maintenance, but to satisfy our ego, just to show ourselves that we are better, we are in better situation, just to satisfy our ego, just to show to our relatives, yes, I am also rich, I am also having so many material opulence, just to satisfy this wrong false ego. We are all suffering here, so much suffering. If we give up this one attitude, yes, I don't want to please my relatives, I can just please Krishna and Guru, that's enough, then we will not be suffering this much. Just to maintain our false material prestige, we are all suffering in this material world. So this is what Arjuna is showing here. He says, by means of killing all of them, to whom I am going to show my happiness and my victory. This is what Duryodhana says. When Duryodhana was badly wounded by Bhima, and then he's on the deathbed. Now Duryodhana, he is cursing everyone and he is chastising Pandavas. He says, what is the use of your kingdom? What is the use of your victory? When I was there, I was maintaining our grandfather, I was maintaining our fathers, I was maintaining our uncles, I was maintaining my brothers, I was with everyone, I was with full relatives, I was maintaining them, I was very happy with everyone. But you people, you have killed everyone. So what are you going to gain happiness? What kind of happiness you are going to gain by killing everyone? So this is the materialistic concept of life. We want to satisfy this materialistic people, but devotees, they want to give up everything in order to satisfy Krishna. If you want to satisfy Krishna, you have to give up satisfying this materialistic people. You cannot do both the things. When you want to satisfy these people, they don't want you to do bhakti to Krishna. When you want to do bhakti to Krishna, you cannot satisfy these people. Either you should satisfy Maya or you should satisfy Krishna. We should decide at one point of time. Krishna will give us this exam. He will test us. What are you going to choose now? Whether me or this material world? Whether you want to satisfy my desires or you want to satisfy this materialistic people? Whether you want to come back to me or you want to stay back into this material world? So this exam is very difficult. Practically, bhakti is easy in the beginning to do. But if you want to advance in bhakti, then certain hard decisions we should make. Otherwise, we will not advance. Sometimes we may see, in order to please our relatives, we have to give up some rules and regulations of devotion service. Yes, just to please our relatives, but that doesn't work. If you want to advance, we should choose. We want Krishna or we want this material. Nate vitu swartha gadim hi Vishnu dhurasayaye bhahirattamanina. Prahlad Maharaj says, people, they don't understand what is good for them. Nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Nate vidu swartha. Swartha means they don't know what is good for them. They are thinking that by means of satisfying my relatives, by means of keeping them happy, I will become happy. But this is a wrong concept. We can never make anyone happy. We can never satisfy anyone. If you can satisfy Krishna, that is the perfection of life. But here, Arjuna is saying that I want to satisfy them. And if I kill them, then what is the use of them? To whom I am going to give this happiness and victory? And then he says, Madhusudana. He uses the word Madhusudana. Hey, you are Madhusudana. You have killed a demon called Madhu because he has stolen the Vedas. So you are the protector of Vedas. So here I am going to kill my relatives, and this is opposite. It is opposite to Veda, because Veda says Ma himsa sarva bhutani ahimsa paramo dharmaha. So Vedas, they always teach us to be violent, to be non-violent. But we are here to do violence. So this is not good, Madhusudana. We are going against our Vedic literature. And then he says Janardana. He again uses the word Janardana. Janardana means, yes, you are Janardana. Jana Ardhana. Ardhana means killing or destroying. And Jana means people. You are the person who can kill everyone. That means you are the person who can remove everyone's sin. It's not me. If you kill everyone, that is your duty, because Krishna ultimately destroys everyone. So if you kill everyone, you don't gain any kind of sinful activity, any kind of sinful reaction. But if I kill, I get sinful reaction. So that's why it is better for you to kill. I will not kill. So here again he says he wants to run away from his duty, and he wants to push his duty towards Krishna. And then he says, Gnatopi Madhusudana, even though they have all the qualification to be killed, because they are all Atatayinas, and in next shloka we'll see what is Atatayina. So he says, even though they are meant to be killed, they have all the qualification to be killed, I don't want to kill them because I will suffer. So better it is for you to kill everyone. I don't want to kill. So this Krishna will say, anyway, I am going to kill everyone, and I have killed everyone. We just become nimitta matra. That is what Krishna is going to establish in the Bhagavad Gita, that we should become instrument. We are not the doers. But Arjuna is showing the qualities of a materialistic person, and this we can see in us also, that we want to please Krishna, or we want to please our relatives. We want to please Krishna's senses, or we want to please our senses. We want to satisfy Krishna, or want to satisfy our own swajana. Whether we have established our relationship with Krishna, or still we think these people as our swajana, that we should understand. So this is the difference between a materialistic person and a soul surrendered to Krishna. This we should examine. So we'll end here, and tomorrow we'll start. Not tomorrow. I mean Monday we'll go through. We'll complete this first